Hi, I'm Eben, and I'll be talking about the violin. The violin was first made in the early 16th century and went through a number of changes before finally arriving at its current shape in the 17th century, which was set by prolific luthiers like the Amati family. In the orchestra, the violin belongs to the string family, which also includes the viola, cello, and double bass. And in this family, the violin is like the baby, smallest in size, highest in pitch. The violin is made mostly out of wood and has a hollow body. Here are the names of the parts of the violin. Here's the scroll, think a scroll of paper, pegs for tuning, the neck, basically where we place our hand on, and then the fingerboard where we press on the strings. And then slightly further down you have what we call the F holes. Not just mere decorations, it also helps with projecting the sound. And then the chin rest, basically where we put our head on when we play the violin. There are 4 strings, namely the G, B, A, and then E, stretched across the bridge towards the tailpiece, which you often see at least a fine tuner, also to help tuning, and sometimes you'll see more than one fine tuner. And then you usually also see a mute, which I'll elaborate later on. To produce sound, the bow is drawn across the strings, which make the strings vibrate, and then the vibration is carried through the bridge. With the help of the sound poles, it resonates and is amplified throughout the whole instrument. This is the bow. It's made of wood and horsehair, the tail of a horse basically. So here's a screw down here to help loosen, as you can see here, or tighten the bow. And before we play, we apply the rosin, which is made of tree resin. So this is to help produce more friction between the bow and the string, so that the string will vibrate more. To play the violin, you put it on our shoulder, our left shoulder, usually with the help of what we call the shoulder rest. So it's put here. So on our shoulder, and we tuck it under the chin. And with the bow, we can start. To make different sounds on the violin, we utilize different bow strokes. So for example, to play legato, which means smoothly, we use détaché. Or if we want to play staccato, which means short, we use spiccato bowing. There's also tremolo. And then sometimes, instead of using the bow hair, we use the stick on the bow. This is what we call collegno. There's also sul tasto, which means playing on a fingerboard. Or ponticello, which means playing right beside the bridge. And sometimes, instead of using the bow, we'll pluck the strings, which we call pizzicato. And every now and then, you'll hear what we call the bartok pits. Other than that, we have the harmonics, where it's divided into natural harmonics, where you just have to place your finger at the right place. Or the artificial harmonics. There's also vibrato, which means to vibrate the fingers. Can be slow, can be fast. We usually use it to enhance musical lines. For example, if we don't play with any vibrato, now with some vibratos, and there's also too much vibrato. And as mentioned earlier, the mute looks something like this close up. And put it here usually between D and A strings, the middle 2 strings. And here's the difference without the mute. with the mute, it dampens the sound. And that's all, folks. Thanks to MBOP for inviting me to do this introduction video, and I hope you all have picked up something. Keep safe and take care.